The Espantoon by Claude-Robert Policart. Oh, hell no, Ethan said. He clutched his garment bag and jogged back a bit. The floodlights in the back of his building beamed. The halogen bulbs brightened two cars in front of him in the private parking lot. Jostled trash can lids clattered on the ground as rats the size of cats scampered. A fat gray rat with testicles the size of chestnuts leapt by him and landed on the hood of one of the two cars. It spun on its rear. Whipping a long tail, it scuttled past the headlight down to the ground until it disappeared, finding cover in the shadow behind the driver's side tire. I hate getting up so early, he thought. The ritual was the same whenever he left his basement apartment in the morning. All the trash bins from the building were placed right outside the door. Rats rummaged through the trash cans throughout the night. Whenever he left for work in the morning, the rats scurried away. Some of the rats ran right across his feet. He should have expected to see vermin, but he'd slept 4 hours at best. Fatigue had lowered his guard when he stepped out of his building's rear exit with his uniform in a garment bag and his police gear in a rucksack. He'd been studying until midnight for a law quiz. When the alarm clock woke him, he'd fallen out of bed and stubbed his toe on his kettlebell. After cursing up a storm, he took a shower, which didn't help to wake him up much. Another wonderful morning in Mount Vernon, he said. He gave the trash cans a wide berth as he exited the gateless backyard and entered Hargrove Alley. The walk from his place to the University of Maryland campus in Midtown would take him 15 minutes. The police academy held training there. His classes started at 6. The instructors conducted a roll call 5 minutes after the hour. If he didn't make it on time, he and everyone in his squad would do push-ups and leg raises in the hallway. It's too early in the morning for that, he thought. The advisors made him carry a 30-pound garment bag with all his uniforms to and from the academy for 2 reasons. First, walking to work in uniform wasn't safe. Second, his uniforms needed to be inspected daily. He had to carry every uniform shirt and pants inside a garment bag. The uniforms in the garment bag and the one he wore had to be pristine for inspection, 0 wrinkles, and creases ironed into his shirt and pants. The Baltimore Police Academy, however, had a method to its madness. The advisors were teaching trainees how to be prepared at all times. Trainees carried their garment bags for another reason. Trainees had yet to earn the privilege of having lockers. Trainees always had to be prepared. Trainee life was hell. He hated defense tactics training. Each grueling session left him bruised and aching. To add insult to injury, he saw an Espantoon defense tactics training scheduled right after the roll call. The Espantoon, a long wooden baton, enjoyed a long history with the Baltimore Police Department. He didn't have to carry it every day, but today it was mandatory. It added more weight to his bag, as if it wasn't already heavy enough. He would have quit if it weren't for his best friend, Jackie Quill. Jackie was a trainee who had become his little sister. Unlike his real family, Jackie supported him. He came to Baltimore because fate had deemed it fit to curse him with an abusive family. Their vices ruined his life, but Jackie helped him survive. They helped each other. She wouldn't let him quit. So to his chagrin, he mushed on. He sweltered, lumbering past the chain-link fences and telephone poles. He glanced at the blue summer moon. Its light diffused, tinting the cars parked behind the row homes with a soft blue haze and illuminated mounds of trash dumped in the alley. He wouldn't have considered the morning scene complete without his having to trudge through rivulets of sewage. The stench of sewage attracted rats, which scuttled in front of his path. Something rattled nearby. Ethan assumed the rats were fiddling with a metal chain-link fence or a trash can. He assumed the noise was nothing. Yet as he approached the near corner of East Chase Street, he saw what looked like human feet and legs sticking out from behind a blue suburban vehicle. A sleeping drug addict, he thought. He'd been living in Baltimore for a year and had grown numb to seeing people laid out on the streets. The ills of drug abuse left signs all over the city. Ethan hoped the legs weren't connected to a dead body. He wished no cameras were recording, as he had no intention of getting involved. He would stroll past it and pretend he hadn't seen anything. Then the body bucked. Something tugged on it, something that snarled. A crunching sound followed the deep and guttural mauling. The cracking of bones ensued, filling Ethan with dread. Was that a dog? A dog was biting the body? Damn! Now I'll have to do something. Heart racing. It was a person wearing hospital scrubs. The white sneakers and purple scrubs were clean, not the type of clothing he expected to see. What if I'm wrong? He paused. He swallowed before making his next thought. He homed in, not believing his eyes. Blood drenched the scrubs and sneakers. This can't be happening. No one walks down the alley this early in the morning. But there it is. Why me? Why now? The tearing of flesh drowned all sounds save for the beating of his heart. He felt like his heart was swelling, becoming too big for his chest. He slowed his pace until he reached the bumper. He gawked in disbelief. An undiscernible hulking mass loomed over a black female wearing a nurse's uniform. Darkness obscured the mass of hair and writhing muscle. The woman twitched as the part that appeared to be a massive head chewed on portions of her upper body. Ethan slowly backed away. He reached for a pocket, the one with his asp in his rucksack. He held his breath as he pulled the zipper. He secured the asp in his hand. The mauler suddenly whipped around. Damn, it hurt me. Ethan froze. The horror hopped up and reared into view. The streetlight illuminated its body, allowing Ethan to see the incomprehensible. Dozens of rats clutched a furry beast with burning red eyes. Ethan wasn't sure how, but he sensed the rats were part of the wolfish creature. This monstrosity was something more, a shapeshifter, a beast his Haitian grandmother told scary tales of when he was a child called a loup-garou. The meta-werewolf before him was a loup-garou that could be half wolf and half any animal, in this case part many animals. It howled a savage, wolfish outcry that echoed. Ethan cringed, covering his ears. The air warbled, the lights went out, car alarms rang, honked, and needling pressure pushed down on his teeth as rats skittered down the beast's body. They piled on top of the woman, covering her from head to toe, their tails whipped. The mound of flesh resembled a gigantic single-celled bacteria with squiggly hairs. The tails elongated and intertwined as they scrolled across the ground. Ethan's eyes followed them as they stretched into cords of laced hair. Hair rooted to dozens of house suckers inside the werewolf's chest. Ethan couldn't fathom their purpose until he noticed the tails were engorged. The eyes of the rats glowed red as they consumed the woman and pumped blood through their tails into the werewolf. Heat flushed through the pores on Ethan's face. "I'm cursed," he said. It was the only way to rationalize why he witnessed this horror. The werewolf's eyes also glowed red. It stood 7 feet tall on its hind legs. Its clawed fingers were twice the size of Ethan's fingers. Its chest was as large as a car's engine block. Its red glowing eyes fixated on Ethan as saliva drooled from its lips. Ethan sprang into action. He threw his garment bag at the werewolf. The werewolf swiped it away. Its nails shredded the uniforms in Ethan's garment bag. He grabbed a trash bin and threw that next, anything to buy him time. "Remember your defense training. What tools do I have?" "Asp, pepper spray, Espantoon, and a taser." "Yes, a taser." His training kicked in. He reacted without thinking and hot-stepped away to give himself some distance. He unzipped his rucksack and pulled out his gun belt. He dumped the rucksack and the Espantoon ejected itself, spinning wildly. The werewolf lurched. He grabbed his pepper spray, sprayed it, emptied it. The stream splashed on the werewolf's nose. The werewolf reeled. This was the end of part 1 of the Espantoon. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to Claude Policart on YouTube and Instagram to view more content.